Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. All weighed in and ready to go. Alexander Povetkin and Dillian White, as well as the two heavyweight undercard fights, which I'll also touch on in this video. But first off, we'll cover Dillian White, Alexander Povetkin. Heading the scales, Dillian White 247.2 pounds. The lightest that he's been in 3 years. That was the Chisora rematch, where, if you recall, White was moving, he was mobile, so maybe we're going to see a little bit of that in this fight as well. So in terms of this weight, I think this is a good weight for him. He's performed at this weight before, and Dillian White is clearly confident heading into this fight, but he has made some adjustments. He's made that much clear. There were a couple of things, and one of them I'll get to in a moment. He said he has sort of reverted back to some of the status quo when he was fighting under Mark Tibbs, style-wise that is. But of this fight, he says, this is the most important fight of my career. Like I said, this is boxing. I've been through ups and downs my whole life, so I'm using it to bounce back, proving people wrong, showing people what I can do when they've written me off. The main thing is the win. I'm a competitor. I hate losing, so I want to make it 1-1. I'll get the win whatever. You've seen me adapt in different fights, getting off the floor and winning, out-jab fighters that are faster than me. My coaching team has worked hard on different plans and working different areas. And White in Fight Week has made it clear that for this fight, he's going back to his style, which he admits that he did go away from in that first fight. Have a listen.
You know, my coach left, I was learning new things, I was doing new things, new strength and conditioning, new things, a lot of things that affected my style and my natural aggressive style a little bit, because we was learning new things and trying other things, but with time I got to know the people, we got to adjust, and I'm like, yo, like, I'm the one that's getting in there. Like, this needs to be changed, and this is my style. We need to add to my style. I'm not trying to change that style, because I'm never going to be the greatest stand-up boxer, good 1-2. So that ain't my style. My style is as a fighter, being adaptable, being fearsome, being that risk taker, being that guy that goes after. You know what I'm saying? That's my style. You know, so we just need to add things to that to make that style as safe and as effective as it possibly can be.
Moving on, Alexander Povetkin, 228 pounds on the scale for the 41-year-old. So this is there or thereabouts what he comes in at. So generally there's about a 5 or 6 pound range that he just comes in pretty much his whole career. He's always under 230 pounds, 228 pounds. Yeah, that's okay for him. And I guess the questions around this fight for Povetkin, because now 41 years old, well, he's 6 months older than that first fight, but he's had a bout of COVID. Are there any lasting effects? But as we saw in the first fight, even though he was down a couple of times and obviously getting beaten up by Dillian White, he was able to come through and finish in spectacular fashion. Can he get up again and do that? This is the danger for Dillian White, because Povetkin possesses that knockout punch, and he's been able to spark him out before, so he will be fairly confident that if the right shot and moment comes, that he can make the most of it. But he says, I've almost forgotten about the last fight because this is finished. I think that Dillian will be better in the second fight than the first. At the same time, I'll try to be more careful, pay attention more to my defense. I don't have this mindset that I'll knock him out. It could go the distance. I'm not focusing on the knockout, and I'm going to follow my plan. And I guess Povetkin has to be prepared for every eventuality, because he may see a fighter in front of him in Dillian White who is a bit more cagey in those early rounds, maybe using the jab a bit more at distance, moving around the rings, just trying to take some of the freshness out of those 41-year-old legs. So I could see a game plan for White consisting of just trying to get through those early rounds and really sort of settle into his work before trying to take over through the mid-rounds and potentially get a stoppage, because you know, when White boxes with Povetkin, he's going to have some opportunities for Povetkin, as we saw in that first fight. There was a lot of good body work that was going uncalled in that first fight for Alexander Povetkin. So if the pace is slow and White is boxing with Povetkin, that's Povetkin's wheelhouse. But I think White needs to go back to, as he said in that clip just before, some of what he likes to do best. And if he is a bit rough and rugged, and he's never going to be perfect in there, but he is effective at what he does. But this is Dillian White's fight to lose. He really goes in the favourite here, and he should win, but that doesn't mean that he will win. So it's a very intriguing fight for all the same reasons as the first one, and then obviously the storyline coming back from the knockout. So it could be repeat. Alexander Povetkin could easily score a knockout, or we could see Dillian White come through here and get the win. And for his career, his sake, he will need this. On the rest of the undercard, 2 heavyweight fights. So we'll start with Fabio Wardley taking on Eric Molina. And actually, Eddie Hearn had said this week, this is the promoter for White of this card as well, that Eric Molina fancied it. So when that sort of phrase is sort of thrown around, that really tells you that Molina is going to be sort of in here. He's going to take a pasting and not really be in the fight. That's one of those sort of phrases that really means something else. But Wardley, 232.4 pounds on the scale. That's pretty typical of where he's been coming in at. There's been a range from about 223 to 238, so 232, pretty much smack dab bang in the middle of that. But of the fight, Wardley says, I've come from the same breed, cut from the same cloth as Dillian. There are no easy fights. We take all opponents when they come in, and big chances and opportunities when they're in front of us. This is one of those, not just for the fight, but for the occasion as well. To be part of an event like this is great. I'm looking forward to Saturday, putting on a fantastic performance and really showcasing my skills. And if you saw my preview video, or of this, when I was talking about this fight just the other day, I mentioned Wardley back in action. I mean, I think Eric Molina is completely washed. Didn't put up a great effort against Filip Hrgovic a couple of years ago. He's only gotten older and no doubt worse. I think this is a very good showcase fight for Fabio Wardley, who should absolutely wash Eric Molina here. He's spoken about wanting some rounds, but I do think this is, if this goes past more than 4 or 5 rounds, I'd be a little surprised, because Molina just doesn't have it anymore. And he's actually coming in at his career heaviest weight, 251.3 pounds. So that's another omen I don't think bodes well for Molina's cause here. And he says of this fight, when I got the call, to be honest, I'd never heard of the guy, and he's speaking of Wardley. The only thing I've got going for myself in this fight is my experience. Coming into these fights, as I can get older, they don't get easier. There's a new generation of heavyweights coming up. Fabio is in the mix. This is the type of fight I need to see where I'm at. I need to see if I can mix it with these young lions. I'm looking forward to the test on Saturday. And in another quote from the press release that came out, he said that he hadn't really had a great training camp. So, I mean, he has sort of laid the breadcrumbs, not as an excuse, but as a sort of, let's keep expectations in check. And we should, because I think he's going to get taken out in this one, and probably inside the first 4 or 5 rounds. So of this third heavyweight fight, which was added quite late in the piece, you've got Erik Pfeifer, the German heavyweight who came into Dillian White's camp, was sparring from him for this camp, and got an opportunity as a result. He's facing Nick Webb. Nick Webb lost to Dave Allen a couple of years ago, but he won Ultimate Boxer back at the end of 2019, hasn't been cited since. So both these guys have been out since 2019, didn't enter the ring in 2020, but Pfeifer 246.1, and that is also a career heaviest for him, almost 2 pounds heavier than his last fight. And bearing in mind, though, it's a small sample size, he's got 7 fights heading into this. This is his 8th. But of this fight with Webb, he says, training has been very good. I'm in great shape, and I will show everyone I'm the best of me on Saturday night. Dillian is a very strong guy, and it was very hard sparring him. I left feeling perfect, and I'm here ready to fight. I think this is my chance. I will use it and show the world who I am and how well I can box. And for a lot of people, this will be the first time that they'll see Erik Pfeifer fighting. He's a guy who was meant to face Daniel Dubois. The fight never happened, but he got some residual sort of name recognition as a result of that. So I think there are people going, okay, This guy at 7-0, he was a decent amateur, but he's an older fighter now, 34 years old, still a prospect coming through. What can he do? Because he needs to do it quickly, because his prime, it's not going to last forever. So I'm interested to see Pfeifer and how he looks in this one against Webb. Webb on the rebuild. Interesting that he took this fight probably for the money, but Webb 262 pounds on the scale, which is, there or thereabouts for what he normally comes in at. But compared to one or two other fights, I thought at the weigh-in he looked okay, generally okay. But he says of the fight, he's a great challenge, a great name who is really a good amateur. This is a great place to showcase my skills, and I can't wait. This is a must-win. There is no other option. I'm winning, and that's that. So Nick Webb confident about his chances. And I think this is actually a reasonably well-matched fight. Based on what both guys have done or haven't done so far, there's a few questions and tests to be sort of answered and passed here. So I'm looking forward to this one. And just like for Pfeifer and Webb here, it's a showcase opportunity for Fabio Wardley too, who should beat Eric Molina inside the distance. And the main event, well, it's a good one. Obviously, it was a dramatic finish to the first one. How's it going to end? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.